volunteers in Guangdong, China visited care recipients and delivered supplies. In the U.S., teachers, parents, and students are coping with the challenges that come with online learning. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Jenny Lee. Thank you for joining us. In Guangdong, Donguan Tzu Chi volunteers have been conducting home visits in communities. Senior volunteers led volunteers in training to connect with care recipients, deliver consolation cash and daily supplies. Here's the news.
After a month, volunteers have come to Sichuan community to visit the seniors. A hug is worth 1,000 words. They're like family to each other. Guangdong Tzu Chi's oldest son has just been discharged from the hospital due to intestinal tumor. The two seniors share their family stories with the volunteers, and they have firm beliefs as parents. City volunteers seized the time to care for 3 families and deliver daily supplies.
This month we provide rice, and we delivered all last month. We deliver all every other month. You should eat more soy products, like tofu and tofu skin. You can also make soup with soybeans.
As volunteers remind the seniors, they also promote environmental concepts.
The paper can be sold. If you discard it, it becomes garbage. It is valuable. You can put it aside, and we will take them when we come visit.
Liang Di, who has just undergone a surgery, suffers from mobility issues. She shares her feelings with the volunteers. Seeing how these people suffer from illness and poverty, volunteers help them with love to get through the tough times.
In Daliang Mountain, Sichuan, Tzu Chi volunteers sent love to the Yi tribe. Essential supplies such as winter clothing, blanket, and cooking oil were distributed. A resident was so touched that he posted the supply receipt on the wall, reminding him to pass on the kindness.
Sichuan volunteers hosted the second distribution in Cedar County, Daliang Mountain. The volunteers in blue and white uniform were already busy early in the morning. Residents of the Yi tribe who have lived in the Daliang Mountain dressed up to attend the ceremony. Volunteers hand over the winter gifts, which include rice, cooking oil, thermal underwear, eco-friendly jackets, blankets, and daily necessities. Although the volunteers were busy, they felt a peace of mind.
When interacting with these residents and assisting with other Tzu Chi volunteers, I felt at peace in my heart. The stress of life went away.
429 families received the winter supplies, and Tzu Chi volunteers followed them back home. This volunteer team walked in a value path, bringing warmth to the residents.
When we visited the families, we saw that they didn't have much at home. The blankets we handed out were immediately put on the bed. It makes me feel we really gave them the most needed items. This touched me a lot.
Volunteers loving footsteps visited the households again. This family led a frugal life to raise 2 college students. The eldest son, who is a teacher already, made such a touching action.
The main reason for posting it here is to let others know that you have helped us before. Similarly, we also want to help others.
The women dress up to dance and sing under the unique blue sky in the mountain. It is believed that, with Tzu Chi's love, the East residents will pass a especially warm winter.
In the third wave of COVID-19 in Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers are mobilized to make PPE for frontline healthcare workers. This time, many of the volunteers that are taking on the job are newbies. In just 4 days, they put together 3,000 sets of PPE.
On this day, these Tzu Chi volunteers are at a clothing manufacturer in Bukit Mattajam to finish the mission they started. As the country is experiencing a third wave of COVID cases, Tzu Chi volunteer Chu is gathering some volunteers to make more PPE for frontline healthcare workers.
Last time it was during the movement control order when many of the Tzu Chi brothers were not working, so there were many brothers here to help last time. But this time around, many of them are back at work, so I thought of asking Tzu Chi sisters who may have the strength to do this. Many this time don't have the experience, but are very willing to learn.
It is not easy to operate an electric cutting machine, which takes some skill and muscle. It's simply a challenge for many of the older volunteers. In the battle against the virus, Tzu Chi volunteers are proactive in this pandemic. The factory's fabric cutting technician is also contributing their efforts, as many hands make light work. Spreading out the fabric, cutting, counting it up, and finally packaging. All the tasks are completed in one breath. In 4 days, 3,000 sets of PPE have been made, as the volunteers send it off with their sincere blessing and gratitude for frontline healthcare workers.
My daughter is serving on the front line. I have 2 daughters, and I thought instead of sitting at home worrying about their safety, why not do something to help them out? This way our frontline health workers can be protected.
Their work commands all of our respect. We are just doing what we can to thank them for their dedication, as they are doing all they can for their patients.
Each person gives what they can to help stop the spread of the pandemic, as well as all look forward to the end of this uncertain time.
In Sabah, Malaysia, the pandemic continues to worsen. Tzu Chi Gabit branch has prepared 238 packages for Gabit General Hospital. With these supplies, the frontline medical workers are able to replenish their energy while working. Here's more.
In Sabah, Malaysia, the pandemic is still very severe. In the capital city, Kapit, the number of confirmed cases is the most in the state. Tzu Chi Kapit branch gathered the love from society, hoping to provide love and encouragement for the frontline medical workers and patients.
Some of the patients, when they were admitted to the hospital, it might be over lunchtime or dinner time. We prepared these nets for them to fill their stomachs temporarily.
I believe that the medical workers in the quarantine center or in the hospital need these supplies even more. They can take it right away after they open the package. Of course, we hope that we can win this battle against the virus as soon as possible.
Tzu Chi volunteers assisted in packaging all the 8 supplies. A total of 230 packages will be sent to the Kapit General Hospital.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to go.
We discussed with the medical personnel who are in charge to see what they needed the most. After the discussion, we then sent the supplies they needed the most. There are children patients in some quarantine centers, so we sent diapers and other supplies to them.
Volunteers also donated PPE protective clothing, which were sewn by themselves, so that these frontline medical workers can work at ease.
Which means a lot to a lot of us actually, to everyone actually. It's really heartwarming to actually use some of the contributed PPEs, for us to be stronger in combating this pandemic.
The people of the whole nation are the strongest support in fighting against the pandemic. It is hoped that the pandemic will end as soon as possible.
Tzu Chi Malacca chapter invited plastic recycling vendors to share their knowledge and experience on plastic sorting and recycling. A total of 65 recycling volunteers attended this event. Take a look.
Listening to the vendor's explanation, volunteers further understood the importance of sorting their recycling. Tzu Chi Malacca chapter invited plastic recycling vendors over to the Jingsi Hall for a retreat with volunteers.
There are too many categories in recycling plastics. I hope every station works together and, under vendors' requests, sort recyclables better.
I told the volunteers to throw away those that cannot be recycled. They have done very well and gave me the plastics after sorting. For the plastic that they don't know which category it belongs, they can ask me and I will immediately answer.
Paying attention in class and raising questions, volunteers have learned a valuable lesson.
I'll bring these back to my community and teach school children. When a child asked me how to recycle before, I had to ask others. So today I've learned a lot, and when I go back, I can teach more people how to do recycling.
Actually, we have to further understand that some things can be recycled now, and I want to reduce the garbage to the least. We also encourage members to sort carefully and to reduce garbage amount.
Purity at the source. When sorting is done right, everyone is able to safeguard the environment.
Online learning is an unprecedented challenge for teachers as well as students and parents across the United States. Even courses such as sports and music are also taught online. It is a challenge, but also a chance for students to be independent learners and for families to be closer.
After the epidemic, every day American students spend much of their day in their room.
I always wake up at 8. My schedule it always goes first math, then social studies, and then I do my specials.
Alicia, did you want to share?
Going to the beach, but in the middle of the
In the writing class, Alicia Zhang, who is in the second grade, can operate the computer proficiently, both speaking and interacting with the teacher. The benefits of homeschooling are much more than this.
I like studying home because it's more quiet. It's always really calm, and it makes me focus because I can learn how to type, and my typing is more better, and spelling is really good.
Virtual
classes actually make children grow faster. They have to do things independently. If they're willing to seize these opportunities, they will grow faster.
The two girls in the Zhang family are in the second grade and fifth grade. At the beginning of the new semester, like most families in the school district, they chose to study at home. The Zhang family not only considered their safety, but also the wishes of the children.
The children themselves will feel like if they went back into in-person schooling, the class situation will not be the same as before. They have to wear a mask and maintain social distancing. At lunch, they can't sit with their good friends, as they just think it's better to be at home.
Studying at home is relatively comfortable, but the internet speed or space limitations often cause learning difficulties.